Alright, so linear equations. Linear equations are equations when if you graph them on a Cartesian plane, a coordinate plane like this, they'll form a straight line like this. Okay? So, um, and what you can do is, sometimes it's hard to tell if an equation really is a linear equation. And what you can do is, you can graph it, or you can get it into a form which will allow you to recognize if it's linear or not, just by looking at the equation itself. So a linear equation will be a first degree equation, which means that the highest um, exponent on a variable will be 1. So the standard form of an equation will allow us to see that. So here's the standard form of a linear equation. That's ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers. 2, 3, 8, 10, 12, -5, 0. The whole numbers, and then the opposites of those, the negatives, and 0. Um, so they need to be integers, so not fractions or decimals. And a should be positive. Just makes things nicer. So this is the general form. Here's an example. 3x plus -2y equals -12. So a is 3, b is -2, and c is -12. Yeah. So here's the graph of that equation. I believe I set this lesson up last week or something. I don't remember if I was trying to graph this or just graph an example of a linear equation. I think that is. Yes, so what we can do is we can take equations that look like they might be linear equations and just double check them by converting them into this form, ax plus by equals c. Um, and if the highest exponent is 1, it's not like 3x squared or 3x cubed or y to the power of 8, nothing, anything crazy like that, just x and just y. Um, then we know that it is in fact a linear equation, and not a parabola. It's not a cubic function, exponential function, anything like that. Okay, so let's try that with a few examples here. We'll get them into this form and then see. Okay, so this guy looks, we see x's and y's. We don't see any kind of x squared or x cubed or anything like that. So it looks like it could be a linear equation, but let's double check. Let's put this in standard form. So let me actually here, just put them up here. So let's just start working with this to make it look like something like that. So first of all, let's get rid of this nonsense. Let's distribute this so there's, I don't see any parentheses and grouping and stuff like that in the standard form of an equation. So let's undo that. So we'll do 2x times x and then 2x times -7. So if we do that, we can distribute that. So we've got 2x squared minus 14x equals y plus 2. Okay, this is kind of dangerous. It's not looking good. But let's go ahead and see if we can get it in standard form. And so let's see. Let's just keep going here. We can't actually combine these. These are not like terms because this is 2x squared, not 2x. So already we can eliminate the idea that's a linear equation. But just to get it, as close as we can move the y over here. We call that 1y equals 2. So I mean, this is kind of as close as we can get it to this form. But we can't combine these terms, so it's not gonna be just something x, and this x squared eliminates the possibility of it being a linear equation. So this is a second degree equation, not a first degree equation. So this is not a linear equation. Sorry, man. Better luck next time. What about this? So that's actually, do you recognize the form of that equation? Little, it rhymes with the Mathceratops form, to give you a little clue. So that's slope-intercept form, so probably gonna be a line, right? But let's double check. Let's put it in this form, and if we can do that, we are good to go. So we want x's and y's over on one side. So we'll move this 4x by subtracting it from both sides. So y minus 4x equals 8. And let's put that, let's just rearrange this. 4x, negative 4x plus y. We'll call that 1y, so it has a coefficient like that is equal to 8. And then we want this to be a positive number, so we can multiply everything by negative 1 just to flip the sign. So we've got 4x plus negative 1y equals negative 8. So there's standard form of this equation. A is 4, B is negative 1, C is negative 8. And, yeah, this is a first degree equation. The variables are just to the power of 1, not to the power of 2 or anything like that. We can write it in this form. So good, yeah, linear equation. Let's try this one. This one's kind of shows the power of the standard form of an equation. Because you'll see, well, you might not see this. That's okay. So let's just do it. So we want to get it into this kind of form, right? So we want the x's and y's over on this side. So let's subtract x, 9x, subtract 9x. So let's keep going over here. So x minus 9x would be negative 8x. And then this side, the x's are gone, so we just have negative 2 left. Now, where's my y? I don't have a y. But, not to panic. No y being there is the same thing as plus 0y. 0y is 0. Negative 8x plus 0 is just negative 8x. So we can totally fake it out and make it look like the standard form. That's fine. You can have 0 for a coefficient for b, or x for that, or for a for that matter. Either way, you can have zeros. That's fine. So is this a first degree equation? Yeah. The x is to the power of 1. We don't have any squares or cubes or anything like that. And there's no y in this. So actually, this turns out to be a vertical line. If you were to keep going with this, negative 8x equals negative 2, you could divide both sides by negative 8, and you get x is 1/4. So on your line, at x is 1/4, it's, you just have a vertical line. So the slope would be undefined. So you can actually, yeah. So this you can write even weird lines like this in standard form. So that's nice. So this checks out. That's a linear equation. And then let's try this last one. 4y equals 5x minus 2y. So we want the x's and y's on one side. So actually what I'll do a little trick here. We'll move this y over here. So we've got 0 equals 5x minus 6y. And then I'll just swing the equation around so it's, going left to right. 5x minus 6y equals 0. So yeah, we've got this in standard form. It's a first degree equation. The variables are just to the power of 1. And so our a is 5, b is negative 6. I'm going to rewrite that as plus negative 6. B is negative 6, and c is 0. So yeah, this is also a linear equation.